Let's explore how to navigate Apple Vision Pro. So this is the home view of Vision Pro. The home view is where you access all your apps and experiences. Anytime you want to get back there, just simply reach up with your right hand and press the digital grill.
This one?
Exactly. You navigate using your eyes, hands, and voice. You simply look at something and tap your fingers together to select.
Yeah, I'm seeing the photo right now. It's like right there. It's just this huge thing right here in front of us.
To make the photo bigger, simply look at the corner and pinch and drag.
Wow, this is amazing.
Welcome to CargoCult.
Welcome. It's me, Naomi.
And it's me, Michelle. First quick Neuralink update, since we're all Neuralink experts now. Musk has now claimed that that first Neuralink trial patient can already move a computer mouse with the brain. He said, quote, patient is able to move a mouse around the screen just by thinking. Do you want to do that in his voice?
I don't think I've mastered the Musk accent.
It's not easy.
First Neuralink patient can... No, it's terrible.
There's really not much more information. All we have, again, is an Elon Musk tweet and all the reporting about his claim that a patient's able to move a mouse around the screen just by thinking basically just says, like, there's no video evidence, there's no white paper, there's no company statement.
Yeah.
Where is the proof?
You know, he's probably not making it up, but it is just weird that he can't wait.
Yeah, he's like, the brain chip works. Of course, a lot of doctors are coming out and saying, like, we're really concerned about the patient because of all the monkey deaths that happened before, the Great Monkey Massacre. And having a brain move a mouse cursor is not that new.
Yeah, that happened in 2017, right?
Yeah, and the part of the brain that controls movement is it has been isolated. Even in the 60s, you had electrodes implanted on the heads of cows and monkeys, and they could easily control the movement of those animals. We would hope the Neuralink chip implant would be able to do the basic.
Yeah, I mean, if it's true what Elon says, then they're just on par with what already happened in 2017, which was when a human controlled a cursor mentally and typed out sentences. AT&T outage affected more than 74,000 customers. In some cases, people couldn't even call like emergency services.
Yeah, my Verizon crapped out and I just sat on my computer and refreshed the page for an hour. What else can you do when the internet's out? Read a book? Come on.
Obviously, we have theories swirling about possible cyber attacks and like probably wasn't. And if they do come out and say that it was, that's probably going to be a lie. But it still highlights the general vulnerability we have. Maybe not necessarily by a quote unquote bad actor or some evil foreign power, just in our ability as a society to connect with each other. We are dependent on these private corporations, and that in itself is scary. It's very normal now, but you know, it's scary.
The FBI and the Biden administration had been intimating that this shutdown was because of like a cybersecurity threat, and all the companies are like, no. AT&T was like, no, this had something to do with our like system updating that we fucked up.
They said, quote, based on our initial review, we believe that today's outage was caused by the application and execution of an incorrect process. Very vague.
And they're also giving every customer $5.
I mean, like for a while, the feds and the national security state have been, and the Republican Party middlemen as well, have been like kind of priming us to expect a Chinese cyber attack. This is something that Marco Rubio has been at the forefront of. You also have Washington-based think tanks that coincidentally take money from like weapons contractors and, you know, companies that stand to profit from a lot of war, like who also are constantly warning about Chinese cyber attacks on U.S. infrastructure. This is the new Russian hacking fear-mongering is basically the Chinese cyber attack.
But what's funny is like we just like did it to ourselves. We just fucked it up ourselves because they're just like, whoopsie. You didn't even need Russia or China to come and interrupt anything.
I mean, it would be great if they could interrupt the fucking award season. It's like, have there always been this many fucking awards? I feel like it's every fucking day.
Since when have you been paying attention to that shit?
It's all against my will.
Is it TikTok or Twitter? What?
It's all of it. It's just like, how many fucking award shows are there? And like my friend was like, oh, this is just award show season, but it's like, I feel like it's been like 3 months of this already.
I have not been paying attention. That's something that I immediately just like glaze over and don't intake any information when somebody talks about an award show or I see
Right.
any content. So I'm like,
That's the move.
I'm
That's the move.
so uninterested. Maybe I'll like watch the nominated films and stuff, but that's the extent of it.
It's just
Praise.
like enough. It's like, what are we doing? So President Xi,
Save us from ourselves.
why don't we start out by talking about the Apple Vision Pro?
Okay.
One of the biggest tech launches of our lifetime, right? Whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm. And whether it's perfected or not, it's a prototype of the perfected version we're going to see later.
It's really like the company vision. Instead of them putting like their mission statement and their vision statement like in their website copy, they're giving it to us via a big product launch, right? Because now, whether we know it or not, Apple has influenced how we're thinking about what the future of computing might look like, which is like, you know, screens floating in the air, augmented reality, your physical surroundings being augmented with this digital component. Apple, remember, they don't want you to think of this as a headset or a VR product. They want you to think of this as a new kind of computer, a spatial computer. The headset is almost like a middleman. The headset, there's some issues that have come out, right? Like apparently there's an issue with the spontaneous cracking of the front screen.
You don't even have to drop it, like it just cracks.
Apparently, like customers are saying they discovered like a mysterious crack in the center of the headset, like where the third eye would be. The hardware has issues, it's clunky, but that's what can be improved upon. But the end result, true augmented reality, is where we're headed.
And yeah, it's coming soon.
They don't, and this first iteration, they kind of don't even care how much it sells. Even if it does sell what they projected to sell for the Apple Vision Pro, that's like barely 1% of their annual revenue. Like,
Yeah.
they're doing this, in my opinion, not necessarily to sell this product, but to set their vision for the future, to kind of get everyone asking the question, is this the future of computing? They're giving us this framework through which to think about the future. They're getting people excited for it, even if it's a negative type of excitement, like fear,
Yeah.
you know, but everyone is getting excited about it.
Yeah. Augmented reality. You could be living in your own reality. The 49ers could have won the Super Bowl.
The Gaza could actually be flourishing and not destroyed at all right now.
Yeah.
In my headset, Palestine's winning. So
Yeah. So you got to try it out, huh?
I
Without
did.
spending $4,000.
No, I just did the demo at the Apple Store. And basically you sit down the whole time and the employee has a script and they basically walk you through the demo, just like any product demo, right? It's very contained. The employee is not like really flexible. And I can't just like put on the headset and explore and like kind of go to what app I want to and do whatever I want.
Mhm.
I have to kind of follow the order of what the employee is telling me to do in the official demo. But because I kind of knew these guys,
Of course.
a couple of them like you know came to hang out, and then the guy who I'm like really friendly with like looked at the lady who was doing my demo and was like, I'll do it with her. And so we had a more casual demo, and I stood up and walked around like, and I was asking him questions, and I was like, you know, being really annoying the way that I am because I hate this.
Yeah.
When you walk around, like you feel the cumbersomeness of the cable. When you're sitting down, like you don't really notice it, but they want you to be walking around the world in this thing. And
Yeah,
that's
the
and like
idea. Well, yeah, the little battery pack that it has.
yeah, the part that's in your pocket, but then the headset is heavy. The cord is
Mhm.
pulling down. If I want to move my arm around, it's like, oh. For me personally, even if I wasn't like politically against it and like had all these dreadful feelings about what the future of society looked like, I wouldn't even be interested because it made my head hurt from a short period of time. It like made my neck hurt.
It does
There's-
look like it would do that.
So it's heavy, right? Because it's aluminum and a glass pane instead of plastic, which gives it a quality feel. but it also kind of affects the user experience because it's heavy. There's two ways that you can wear it on your head. One is like the single loop headband, which is basically like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one, which is one that's like this and one that's like this. So I'm sure with the double strap, which I did not get to try, maybe it's like a little bit more comfortable and like easier on your neck. It doesn't make sense to like kind of go out in the world with it. Like we saw a lot of content creators making videos that are meant to get clicks, obviously, about people like doing stuff outside and like walking around. And it's like kind of gimmicky, like all these things we've never
Like
seen before.
skateboarding and driving.
Yeah, they're
all these
basically
like
doing
terrifying
performance
things.
art. They're doing sketches because they understand how the internet works. But really, this is like a tool to get work done or to watch a movie
Yeah.
because
just
it's literally all around you.
I mean, definitely for my boyfriend who wants to watch like several football games at once, it would be a game changer for him. A literal game changer.
For that use case, it works. Like as an external screen for your existing laptop or computer, like to add another window, or to have multiple games going at once, like it does that perfectly. The screens themselves are obviously extremely good. The screens that are, by the way, centimeters away from your eyes. It's no contest between Meta and Sony. I have tried both of those headsets on now, and I can say that.
So by screens, you mean the windows that pop up in
Well, there are
centimeters away from you?
screens in
Oh, okay.
There's
So
screens in the goggles. You're not looking through the glass. It's called pass-through augmented reality. You know what augmented reality is,
Mhm.
right? If I'm sitting in front of you, I'm not seeing you. I'm seeing a stream. The video cameras on the outside of the goggles are capturing. It's like two big TVs on your eyes. I'm so glad though that my friend that worked at the Apple store like saw me and took over and we had a more casual experience because the official demo, they take you to photos and they show you like, here's what a 3D photo looks like. And like, okay, that's impressive. And then they take you to Apple TV and they're like, you could watch Dune. And it's like, okay, yeah, like love the idea of watching a movie in 3D or not 3D in 360. But also the lady that originally was doing the demo with me had such depressing and draining energy. I can't believe she was hired for that role, which is so customer
I think you have to
facing.
be, I thought you would have to be like really bubbly to get a job at Apple. Maybe I could do it then.
Most of the people I know who work at Apple are like some of my favorite people on earth. They're like great communicators, friendly, informative, good vibes. And I don't mean like work in corporate Apple. I mean like the retail. Anyway, I really didn't like her. No charisma. If you're out there listening to this,
Wretched vibes.
you're not a good salesperson. And then the other small annoying thing was like you can't even rearrange the apps on the home screen, which really surprised me. You'd think that would be an easy fix. I don't know why they wouldn't let you do that.
But again, this is like the first prototype. It's gonna be easier on the eyes, easier on your neck. It's gonna be smoother later on. This is really the first iteration that they kicked out.
Another thing I found really annoying about the UI is that when you're on a computer, you're not necessarily looking where your hand is typing. Like think about typing something or like hitting enter, hitting backspace on something. Like you're not looking at the key the whole time. You want to be kind of moving forward, doing other things. Same thing with clicking. But with this new spatial computer, you have to look at everything you want to do. So if I just want to like delete a few lines of text, I have to literally look at the delete key while I hold it down the entire time.
Yeah, it's like less productive than using a laptop.
Yeah, it's not faster than just like getting work done. I mean, what I could see it being great for is watching a movie. For sure, it's going to blow any sort of TV experience out of the water because the screens are, again, centimeters away from your eyes and the display is really great. And, you're not dealing with glares. But in terms of getting work done, I can't see it make sense for that. And also it's not super good in low light, which is something that I had to kind of find out myself. Like that's not something you would have found out during the demo because you're in the Apple showroom, which is like probably one of the most well-lit facilities in history.
You mean it's like not good in low light, like you can't see through the ski goggles?
Well, you're not supposed to see through the ski goggles at all. The only thing you're seeing is the screens.
I thought you can
don't
see
get it.
through them.
No. There are cameras capturing your surroundings, and then those surroundings are being shown to you on a screen.
Oh, wow.
Pass through augmented reality. We just went over this, and I guess I'm not explaining it well. You're watching screens.
Yes.
You're not watching anything else but screens.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I get it. I get it now. Yeah, it just seems like there's some things that your eyes can do that Apple is trying to do as well, and it seems counterproductive.
And it's like, it's the obvious point to make, but like, this is going to collect more data than any other personal device in history. It's 12 cameras, 6 microphones. It's building these maps of our homes. It's collecting data on how we move our bodies. It's collecting eye tracking data, which is actually very valuable. You can tell a lot about what a person is thinking and feeling through micro expressions, right?
Reasons to not spend $4,000 on it. Yeah,
The first reason is I don't have $4,000.
sure you do.
Not to throw away.
Not to set on fire.
Yeah. But actually, you're kind of bringing up a good point, because for a lot of content creators, it makes sense to spend the $3,500 because they're going to make that back and then some in the revenue share that they do by making these like viral videos about the Apple Vision Pro, because they're like capturing the zeitgeist of what everyone's like searching for and wants to see videos on. So there's this social science theory called the diffusion of innovation theory, which was developed by a guy named E.M. Rogers in 1962. He first published this when he was an assistant professor at Ohio State. Actually, this is where the term early adopters comes from. He actually introduced this term. But basically, he says that there are innovators, early adopters, the early majority, the late majority, and laggers. And he puts this on a bell curve. So if you picture a bell curve, it starts with the innovators, 2.5%, the early adopters, 13.5%. And if you add that up, it becomes 16. Hold that thought. The early majority, which is 34%, the late majority, and then the laggards, which is 16%. So it's this bell curve where you have kind of the early majority and the late majority splitting the middle part. And then in the beginning, you have the innovators and early adopters, and then at the end, you have the laggards. I wish he would split the section called laggards into two things so it would be more even, but whatever. I feel like I didn't explain that well. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I understood. And yeah, I'm a lagger.
I think
Or,
for
yeah.
something like augmented reality, I'm probably a laggard too.
I mean,
But anyway, so he published it as a book, and this theory is widely accepted in technology adoption studies. And Apple intentionally pitches to innovators. They kind of position themselves in the market as we're talking to innovators right now, right? And we saw this with the iPhone.
Revolutionary mobile phone. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
At launch, the iPhone was more expensive at $599 and could do less than the existing smartphones. So it was more expensive and less capable, right? But still, people lined up for it and people got really excited about it and the whole world was talking about it, and they made a big disruption because they intentionally marketed it as, this is something for innovators. This is something who want to be at the beginning of what's going to be a new era, right? And I think it's the same thing happening with the Vision Pro. More expensive than existing headsets. And because Apple positions itself as introducing us to, as like this introduction to the future, you have content creators essentially doing free marketing for Apple. Apple doesn't need to pay people to, like, I just watched this thing on Hulu called BlackBerry. Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
It tells the story of the BlackBerry.
I had one. You're Gen Z.
I had several Blackberries. I remember BBM came out my freshman year and we were all like, wait, can you BBM me? Did you BBM me? That's so funny to think about now. No one says,
Wow,
"Can you
you're
message me?"
ancient. BBM.
So anyway, in the BlackBerry Hulu piece, BlackBerry supposedly had people go to country clubs and, you know, the restaurants that power lunchers would go to, and like just these people's jobs would be to talk and be on the BlackBerry, just like get the BlackBerry out there to show like the business world, like this is the phone you need to be doing business. But it's interesting because Apple doesn't need to do that because of the nature of the content creation economy right now. creators will not only do it for free for Apple, but they'll actually pay $3,500 to do it, right? Tear down videos, review videos. Then there's the short form virality bait. You have people doing performance art on the street. You have people doing sketches with it. The vlogging channels like I survived 50 hours in the Apple Vision Pro, right? Creators know that they're going to get attention by talking about the Vision Pro, which is already valuable to them. But on top of that, they're going to monetize that attention. The revenue share from making, say, a YouTube video is certainly going to exceed the $3,500 upfront cost. And then for those who are already established, like tech creators with audiences,
Yeah, they're expected to have it on. It only makes sense if you're an influencer to get this thing, really. If you're not filming yourself using it, then why did you buy it?
it's like the world almost like stops for tech influencers when a launch like this happens, because it's like, here we go, like I'm going to make my entire annual salary like in this week if I do it correctly, right? Because if you can go successfully viral, then virality can boost the viewership into your library, and so it just makes sense for creators to do this. Everyone is searching for information about the Vision Pro. They might find you as a creator and like you. All of that is to say, you wouldn't get that if Apple just came out and said, we have a headset and this headset's going to compete with the Meta Quest. They're saying, no, welcome to the era of spatial computing.
Yeah.
This is the future of using a computer.
Yeah, I thought the ad that you sent me was really interesting, the way they imagine the use cases of these goggles. A father is like preparing breakfast for his kids, and he's like working with some kind of blueprint and moving around objects, because those precious 15 minutes you're preparing breakfast for your children could be used for work. So it's like all those moments where you are not working, you could be working. That's what the Apple Vision Pro is for. It's like,
Never stop working. Yeah, or like I could be like, hey, let's watch a movie, and then we both put our things on. Just like in our own things. You look over as we're watching the movie, you take your headset off for like a second and you see me like pinching and you're like, are you working right now?
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, we said we'd watch this movie together. Yeah, and the other thing is like we're all in our own little bubbles and worlds because of our phone, but imagine how much worse it's going to be with the Apple Vision Pro, and like you literally have these screens in front of your eyes. It's important to note, yeah, that a lot of the new technologies that are coming out, it's increasingly isolating people. I sent you that screenshot of the adult swaddle. Like everybody's gonna have their own Apple Vision Pro. Everybody's gonna you won't need another person. Like it's just more and more isolation is what's the future will hold. And to the point where people have been buying this adult swaddle, which is like a full body, basically like a sleeping bag, but it's tighter, so it feels like you're in the womb, and it promises better sleep for an anxious person. There's a bunch on the market.
Oh, this is not what I pictured at all. Oh wow. You know what? No offense, I was an innovator with this one. I was not a laggard with this one. I did this with my circle scarf in middle school.
Yeah, you could have gone on Shark Tank and said I could cure everybody of a bad night's sleep with
Do you
this
remember the American
giant
Apparel?
nylon.
Sorry to interrupt, but let me keep interrupting. Do you remember the American Apparel? Oh, it's nylon? Fuck that. It's not even a natural fiber.
I don't know. I was assuming it was nylon.
What's the price?
It's like $100, but it compresses your body.
Yeah, I mean, we're just like losing the community in every way. Everyone's in their own little world.
It's pretty grim. You have the dad who's totally occupied by working and barely interacting with his children.
You can spend even less quality time with your kids.
Yeah, you could be
your kid will think you're
multitasking.
hanging out with him, but you're actually watching porn in your headset right now.
Yeah, you could be playing catch, but really you're just like feeling breasts on the Apple Vision pervs. Where did like these children are just gonna grow up without parents?
Clearly they want this to be like a personal thing because it calibrates to you, to your eyes and your head, right? And then if I want to take it off and be like, hey, take a look at this, it's not going to work because your eyes are in a different place and all of that. You have to like redo a calibration.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm assuming in the future they're going to tie it to like your Apple ID. Like you scan your eyes and then, okay, they know this is Naomi Caravani's head,
Mm.
which I mean, great.
Yeah.
Just, like it's
Your nightmare, your personal nightmare. The person who goes through TSA and asks to not go in the blender machine takes extra time
you know that
to
I
go
do
through.
that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay. Okay.
who I'm describing you.
Yeah, I thought you were talking in abstract. Did we
Guess
ever
who
fly?
this is?
Did we ever fly together somewhere?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So I
Germany.
personally held you up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Berlin
Oh, Berlin. How long ago was that?
and Miami. We flew together.
Oh, yeah.
Years.
Sorry about that. There's also speculation that Apple CEO Tim Cook might retire soon because in an article from 2021, basically like the foremost Apple reporter, this tech reporter named Mark Gurman was quoted as saying, quote, "The belief inside Apple is that Cook just wants to stick around for one more major new product category, which is likely to be augmented reality glasses rather than a car." Well, I didn't even know that was even being discussed. Something that's even further out. He also understands that running a Silicon Valley company is typically a young person's game, and he's not going to stay far beyond his prime. This guy's like, broken the news on every major Apple hardware product and software release. Like he's like the Apple reporter. So I don't know, like people are speculating that like Tim Cook is going to leave soon, which is sad because he's a gay tech CEO. We don't have a lot of them.
Yeah. We need more representation.
But anyway, so Tim Cook probably, wants to leave with kind of like this being his legacy.
What's the deal with Tim Cook? I don't even know much about him.
Yeah, I don't know. Tim Cook, like he's been around for a while. He joined Apple in 1999. He was the senior vice president for worldwide operations, and he kind of made a name for himself, closing factories, closing warehouses, replacing this with like contract manufacturers. So classic, quote unquote, good management under capitalism is like you bring costs down, you bring profits up.
Suicide nets up.
Get back in there. Come on. In 2007, he was promoted to lead operations, and then he eventually, stepped in as CEO. Actually, when Steve Jobs was still alive, but when his health was like failing.
When he was trying to cure his cancer with smoothies. Yeah, he put his pancreas in a bowl of rice.
I mean, I can't even imagine what it must be like to be someone like kind of like living in Steve Jobs' shadow every day of your professional life.
Doesn't he dress like him?
No, I've seen him in suits and ties and polo shirts. I think Steve Jobs was just black tea.
Black turtleneck.
I think we need to go back to fucking CEOs wearing suits and ties. Lean into the fact that you are corporate executives.
Stop dressing like you're homeless.
Stop dressing like you're normal. Like you're one of the most powerful men on earth.
Behave like it.
Own up to it. Wear a fucking nice suit. I would like to be oppressed by someone that at least looks good.
Yeah, somebody who doesn't know how to tie a necktie is controlling our future.
Yeah, or like the Bill Gates sweater rebranding. Like, I'm so over it. I want to see my evil tech billionaires looking like evil tech billionaires, please.
Want to see the suits and suits.
But anyway, so Tim Cook, this analogy is like for one person listening to this. But if you're out there, Tim Cook is like the Peter Martins of Apple. Anyway, to tie up the Apple Vision Pro, the headset is just the middleman to the long-term vision of augmented reality for the company, right? And this is what we're buying into.
Apple Vision pervs.
To me, I think the cooler piece of technology, because I don't actually think, okay, the pinching and the scrolling with the hands and the eye tracking, that is impressive from a technical standpoint, but I don't fuck with that. And I don't think that having screens in a headset is actually that innovative or interesting. But just to become a traditional tech podcaster for a second, I just want to say that I think the Samsung transparent, like micro LED screen that they just debuted is really cool. It's another way of kind of getting to that endpoint of augmented reality, but instead of having something on your head, acting as the middleman between reality and your eyes, it's actually out there in reality. And you could have like, I don't know, a fish tank or a YouTube video or whatever.
What is that thing?
Project
The
goes.
Sony.
It's the Samsung transparent micro LED screen. At CES this year in January, Samsung rolled out the first transparent version of its micro LED display technology. This is the world's first transparent micro LED display. This is the kind of thing that, you know, I think is going to be a part of the augmented reality future as well. Transparent and even LCD based screens have been around already, but Samsung says that this one is much brighter, the images are more clearer, and obviously the glass is more transparent than the current technology that's out.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Samsung and here's
Shut up. I'm not ready. Okay.
so micro LED displays, in case you haven't been paying attention,
You see
Samsung
that?
uses in their massive wall-sized televisions,
Oh,
basically
nice.
millions of tiny little LEDs, super bright, great picture quality. So now they're making a transparent version of those screens. So the idea is you look through the screen and you can see whatever's behind it. And meanwhile, what's on the screen is brighter with better color than what you get from other transparent technologies, namely transparent OLED. So transparent OLED has been around for a while. It's a little bit dimmer from
We're getting in the weeds here, and
Yeah.
it's not that kind of tech podcast, you guys. I don't even know what OLED stands for.
We're out of our depth. It's like we prepared for a few things today.
Listen,
then-
I want to talk about the social impact. I don't want to talk about the tech specs.
Yeah.
No
Let's
one's
get
here
out
for
of-
that. But
I would love a transparent TV though for my
yes,
own.
because what's the worst part of having a TV? It's when it's off, it's ugly.
Ugly.
Hell. I want a TV that effectively disappears when I'm not using it at my house. I feel like that would be so nice. And you could even, at that point, you could have it in the middle of the room. It doesn't need to be against the wall.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that they're like frameless.
But also a projector is cooler.
Yeah, but the display is not as vivid. And also it's less impacted by ambient light. So anyway, I prefer this because it's not on the body. And also probably a little bit of Korean pride as well, even though obviously these are multinational corporations.
Anyways, so we should move on to Sora. You may have seen these videos. Should I pull up the video? I should pull up the videos. This is OpenAI's little child, ChatGPT, wrote all those essays and cover letters and resumes. Now they're coming for video. These videos were created with text prompts, and there's no kind of uncanny valley effect.
If it came out a bit earlier, then NYPD could have at least faked a better dance team video.
I mean, it does look like stock footage to me, a lot of this stuff.
That's exactly what it's going to be. Maybe it's going to replace the stock footage industry, but I think it's like my mind immediately goes to war propaganda or like atrocity propaganda that's AI generated.
But yeah, there is kind of like a feel of stock footage of
Yes.
like this is staged.
The Sora model can create videos up to 60 seconds long, either using text instructions alone or text combined with an image. And of course, the better the prompt, but the better the output in theory. But we can't test this out for ourselves yet. So we kind of just have to assess this based on the examples that OpenAI gives us. And I'm sure they're giving us the cream of the crop, right? They're going to give us the best examples of this technology.
And people are commenting on how amazing they can change the depth of field and the lighting. And these are things that doesn't have an engineering system. So like video games tend to have like an engineering system built in, so like the software kind of understands the physics of what it's doing. But these videos are based on learning from other videos. What kind of videos? Shutter. They have like a licensing partnership with Shutterstock. That's all we know really. They're probably scraping other videos from the web, so we're not really sure what Sora is learning from. There was one cool video that I liked of the pirate ships in, where did it go? Here's paper birds. I think we got woolly mammoths, movie trailer. We got some landscapes, got some animation, sea creatures made out of paper. And this, somebody put a side by side of like the actual Shutterstock bird this video was based on, and it's not exactly the same, but it's not as amazing when you see it. This is the cool thing, the pirate ships in coffee, in a cup of
Oh.
coffee.
Well, the side issue reminds me of like it. So it sounds like, it's pulling from Shutterstock and possibly other stock footage libraries. That reminds me of the New York Times lawsuit. Basically, New York Times is suing OpenAI for copyright infringement because the New York Times is like the single biggest proprietary data set that is being used to train GPT. In the complaint, which was actually filed on my birthday,
Oh.
the New York Times like lays out the side by sides of like ChatGPT's responses and the New York Times articles that they clearly drew from.
Did you see the Gemini news, that like Google's AI product that does text to image, text to audio? They like had a diversity problem, so they fixed it, and now they're apologizing for having diverse groups of Nazis. It's like the cast of Hamilton as Nazis with yeah.
That's funny.
So Gemini is Google's generative AI, text to image, text to audio. So you prompt it with the text, and Google has apologized for what it describes as inaccuracies in some historical image generation depictions with its Gemini AI tool. So people are expecting that they can have some modicum of accuracy when it comes to generating historical, fact-based images. And it looks like a group of Nazi-era German soldiers came out as people of color.
Future liberals want.
Yeah, they're trying to say like the AI doesn't have a bias problem. Look
Right.
at how much diversity we have. Like
Right.
every group of people is going to look like a community college for sure.
I want to
And-
know what the prompting was, because could have just been like, show me people in Nazi uniforms, and like then Gemini did exactly what it was supposed to do. Or they could have
Okay,
said,
so generate an image of 1943 German soldier. We
okay,
have
wrong.
we have Asian.
Oh,
we have
shit.
we have one kind of German looking guy, and then an Asian woman, a black guy, clearly an SS officer. We're aware that Gemini is offering inaccuracies in some historical image generation depictions. We're working to improve these kinds of depictions immediately. Gemini's AI image generation does not generate a wide range of people, and that's generally a good thing because people around the world use it, but it's missing the mark here.
Good spin, good spin, good spin, good spin. I got hit on by a Gemini yesterday, actually, at the grocery store.
Oh, yeah?
The fact that he asked me what my astrological sign was, like within the first minute of talking, was already a sign that he probably wasn't for me. But I
Really?
just that's funny.
I mean, the way you said I got hit on by a Gemini.
Well, it's like one of the only things I know about him. I honestly, I don't have anything against astrology. A lot of my friends are really into it, and I actually do believe in the larger astrological shifts. Like I was just talking about this with Jenna the other day, but I just don't think we would have been a match based on that. Anyway, also he's sober, so
But so are you, kind of. You drank.
that's the thing is like there's a difference between people who don't drink that often and people who say I'm sober. When you're actively sober, to me, that's a turnoff. But someone who just naturally drinks when they want to and then just happens to not want to that much, that's normal and I like that. You know what I mean? But also, I guess it is poison, and I guess I should respect people who are sober, but I kind of just don't.
I respect it. I think it must be so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it from over here.
Yeah, from a distance.
To me, it signals that there was a problem.
Yeah.
Like you can't control yourself. You have addiction issues. Like that's not a turn on.
Anyways,
it's just such a non-woke segment right now. Anyway,
people were really impressed by these Sora videos, which, I'm somewhat impressed by. I can't say that I really understand. I don't think the company really understands the mechanisms that are going on here, because there were some quote unquote hallucinations that you would find in ChatGPT, like, the machine would like spit out nonsense sentences, and not make sense. And there were videos that Sora spit out that were also not making sense. There was like a cup spilling, like elements disappear. Sometimes people, float under the horizon. So it's not totally perfect, but it's like a giant leap forward in what text to video was last year. That's the word on the street.
Mm.
Twitter.
It's going to get better. It's going to get better for the sole reason that there are teams of people whose entire, professional goals revolve around making this better, right? Basically, OpenAI says that Sora can generate complex scenes with multiple characters, specific types of motion, and accurate details of the subject and background, and that the model not only understands what the user has asked for, but also how those things exist in the physical world. So if that's actually true, it means that Sora would not do the Nazis of color that Gemini did.
Perhaps.
Because if they know what if Sora quote unquote understands what Nazis are, then they wouldn't do that unless the prompt was, hey, show me a black Nazi.
I mean, there were tons of times when I was working at Redacted when I'm just like, I wish I could just type a thing in and
make it
would.
happen.
Yeah, and it didn't seem like far-fetched as an idea to have that, like, for stock footage. But yeah, it is so funny that they put out 1-minute videos and people are like, the movie industry is over. And it's like,
oh, you saw what Tyler Perry did?
Yeah, Tyler, but also, yeah, just like the nerds on Twitter, the AI nerds on Twitter are like, the movie business is finished. Like, look at this 1-minute video. And it's like, okay, we've been dealing with a lot of high concept, high quality 1-minute videos for a long time that have not been produced by Hollywood. So, I mean, of course, part of the demo is to have sample sizes that are small, but what's going to create the most hype? 1-minute videos. It's like perfectly inserted into social media, and people are going to share them and be like, whoa, look at this. Look, it can hold your attention for 60 seconds. That's because that's really all you have.
This is going to be for stock images. When you're looking for stock footage, most of that stuff is like 60 seconds, or maybe it's like 3 minutes, maybe. But like, you don't want to show the same clip for more than 2 or 3 seconds anyway. So it'll be, I'm sure we're going to start seeing video essays lined with Sora B-roll on YouTube this year.
Yeah.
It's basically like an elevated version of Dolly. What'd you say?
I would have loved to have it when I was doing packages. I was looking for so much stock footage. We had such a limited library. I would have loved it. Yeah, but so the Tyler Perry news.
Tyler Perry was planning an $800 million expansion of his Atlanta studio, which would have added 12 sound stages to his 330-acre property. But apparently, after seeing the power of AI, and specifically after seeing OpenAI's Sora and its outputs, he put those plans on hold. Like, okay, we'll take it with a grain of salt. Maybe he put it on hold for other reasons.
Financial reasons, yeah. But it sounds like it was a really expensive project.
But anyway, so he did an interview with a Hollywood Reporter, and he said, quote, being told that it can do all these things is one thing, but actually seeing the capabilities, it was mind-blowing. I no longer would have to travel to locations. If I wanted to be in the snow in Colorado, it's text. If I wanted to write a scene on the moon, it's text. And this AI can generate it like it's nothing. If I wanted to have 2 people in the living room in the mountains, I don't have to build a set in the mountains. I don't have to put a set on my lot. I can just sit in the office and do this on a computer, which is shocking to me. So if you are in the set building industry, the costume industry, hair and makeup, you're a PA, you're a location scout, apparently you are sitting ducks, according to Tyler Perry, and you should start looking for another job.
And I think we're a long way from that being true. But on the other hand, so many movies are shot on green screen anyways, right?
I mean, you could make a movie with quote unquote AI videos right now. Would it be good? That's a point of opinion, but you technically could do that today.
There's a couple that exist, yeah.
And I think like, okay, we could say it's good because, oh, now the regular Joe can compete with the millionaire Tyler Perry. And, we both have access to this technology, and I can make a movie and he can make a movie. And it's like, technology is the great equalizer, yada, yada, yada. Whatever. I kind of see the point there, even though I think it's stupid. There's kind of a sliver of a point there. Maybe we'll see a little bit of that, but what we're definitely going to see is like propaganda wars being heightened with
The
fake video,
capabilities of
with
these
deep
things.
fakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, with deep fakes. Yeah. Deep fakes.
If convincing versions of them don't already exist, they certainly will soon. If you think about, like, we already have AI voice cloning, and that's pretty sophisticated already. So like
Yeah.
combine that with the fake video, it's like a whole new frontier of propaganda.
Yeah. So many people are getting scammed by their dead relatives calling them and asking for money. I
And
mean,
that's been around for a while, the like phone scams, like, grandma, I need money, send it to me. But now there's fake videos and fake images all over Facebook. And like the old people are falling for it in record numbers. AI art has like taken over Facebook apparently. And I know this because people are making videos about it and posting them to TikTok. like someone will post like amazing photograph, and then you'll just get all these people going like, wow, like, engagement bait basically.
what
But
is it, like a puppy inside a lion's mouth? And they're like,
here's
look
some
how it's.
examples.
Taken over Facebook with AI.
Oh, yeah.
They've got
Like
everyone to
undressed
believe their BS.
celebrities.
Pay close attention because all of these images are completely fake. They're designed to get you to like their post, to comment and share and drive traffic on their posts so they can build up these Facebook accounts. And what they're doing is they're using images of things like Jesus, of people who are poor, starving, hungry, to prey upon the sympathy of people who don't know it's fake. It's actually unbelievable how many likes, comments.
Look at the
shares
baby and the dog.
these posts. So fake. Look at the hands on this dog. Got over 120,000 creations.
Yeah. Oh,
If you look
that's
closely at
cute.
these photos, you'll notice things like cats in water that just don't make sense. Dogs made out of completely fake Legos.
So yeah, like he said, it's all to just drive engagement and get people to follow these pages. It's just like, okay, those examples are kind of harmless, but if people are falling for that, they have the ability to fall for other stuff too. Like, is it perfect? No, but also, is the perfect version going to get released to the public? No, I'm sure the Pentagon has the perfect version,
Yeah. What was that
Or-
plan to like do a hologram Jesus coming
Oh,
back?
Project Bluebeam.
Yeah.
Insane. Let me find something to read to you.
They could have the Messiah come back and guess
It's like
what?
to
He's
abolish
the real
religion.
prophet. Jews, Muslims, give it up. Christ is here. Maybe that would be the uniting force.
Okay, so according to the Project Bluebeam theory, is this a reliable source? This is allthat'sinteresting.com. Let's move to a different website.
You gotta type in your question and Reddit.
Reddit.
As we'll get to later.
Oh, that's a good segue.
So I thought I was the only investigative genius who would Google my question than the word Reddit. But it looks like Reddit is way more valuable than we thought. So Google cut a deal with Reddit for AI training data in the sum of $60 million per year. Some people say that that's even undervalued because one of the last places on the internet where there's so few bots is Reddit, where so many of
Except the actual
discussions
bots on Reddit.
Except there are bots on Reddit, but they're easily located and downvoted by the real human users who are very active, and you just know if you're looking for the right answer for something or for serious discussion.
Also on Reddit, the bots are called, Always Sunny in Philadelphia bot. They're upfront about being bots. Like, Reddit honestly kind of pioneered the bot stuff.
Yeah, and especially the internet at large, because of ChatGPT and these AI models, there's so many just articles that are written by the machines. And yeah, and you have, of course, all these news sites dying, and Vice is going under, and a lot of news sites have stripped their staffs, and so there's just less and less information that's being created by humans. And so you might be Googling a subject and you'll just come across so many inaccuracies because it's an article's written by ChatGPT. There's just websites that create articles, just they, find a celebrity, write biographies that are totally inaccurate. You can't even find the height of a dude anymore. It's just all bullshit out there except for Reddit.
Yeah, and this deal with Google is going to let Google train its AI models on Reddit content and also improve services like Google Search. It's especially kind of a big deal. I mean, it's a huge deal for Google because they're getting all this information to train its AI models on. It's also kind of a big deal for Reddit because right now they're preparing to IPO. They're going to list their shares on the New York Stock Exchange really soon. And by the way, this IPO is going to be the first time since 2019 that a social media company has premiered on the stock market. Reddit's kind of like almost like the last one to go public, the last of the big ones. I think much has been said about how like Reddit is just a better source of community than Twitter. Now that Twitter has been overrun with bots and Twitter, everyone on Twitter is just trying to engagement farm because you can now get paid for engagement. So everyone's just trying to go viral. There's all this rage bait. There's all this engagement bait. People are just trying to, be annoying. People have been like, oh, thank God Reddit's so much better. But I just hope that that doesn't shift because often when a company goes public and then it becomes beholden to the stockholders, you start to see social media platforms, try to monetize every aspect of itself.
Oh no.
I know.
So that's so sad.
So get your Googling in now. Get your
Google
Googling with the word
question
Reddit in.
plus Reddit. Yeah. My vacuum cleaner was like clogged and I was like, oh no, I didn't know it was clogged. It was just like showing that the bag was full. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to throw this $300 vacuum cleaner out. Like, what the fuck? And I just searched on Reddit and somebody was like, no, it could be just clogged.
So you were
I
in
mean-
like r/vacuum.
Yeah.
We were.
I just Googled my vacuum cleaner and yeah, the bag light coming on.
r/shark, r/Dyson. Where were we?
It's a meal.
r/meal.
Miele.
Nice. My vacuum cleaner can suck a fucking dick. I do not recommend it.
What do you have, a Dyson?
No. I don't want purple in my apartment. I'm a crazy person. I need everything, especially appliances. I need them to be like stainless steel color, like silver or maybe white, all white, or maybe all black.
But nothing else.
Maybe a nice gray, but like it has to be the right gray because I live in a studio. When something's in my house, you see it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I don't have like a room or a closet to tuck things behind. So kind of everything has to look good together.
That's smart. And then you decorate it with colors instead of getting items with colors. But you're a true New Yorker, all black. Reddit going public. So what this means is like they have to make the company profitable. Will they be able to monetize Reddit? Who knows?
Oh, I'm sure they'll find a way.
But when they try to monetize, it's going to definitely shut down that NSFW subreddit. And Redditors, the power Redditors, the all-knowing wise men on the internet, or women, or non-binary people, they said this is the beginning of the end. In this Verge article, they said there's gloomy speculation about the measures management may take to make the company profitable, which subreddits might be banned, how much users might have to pay to post. And they're also offering shares. So part of their plan with the IPO is like to offer the most, influential users, the power users as they're called, the opportunity to buy shares. So not only will you lose all your time on Reddit, but you can also lose your money.
Oh, that's so nice of them.
Yeah, but they figure that if they own if they own shares of the company, they would be less likely to protest and shut down subreddits or do anything to make the company unprofitable.
Oh, so it's like the capos, the Jewish capos, or in German, the Funktionsschaftling.
I don't know if there's a one-to-one correlation between those. I think they're just trying to keep the users family friendly.
Yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, my main use for Reddit is like, is this bug a bed bug? the bugs subreddit forum and like going through a total paranoid episode, and somebody or three people there, one of which is an entomologist, saying that is an ant to my picture, and it just, or yeah, what is this plant is really fun. What is your main use?
Definitely when a show or movie that I was really into ends. In fact, the nanosecond that it ends, I go find the subreddit and try to find people saying the things that I'm thinking to try to confirm my opinions about the show.
Your feelings on the show, or like what you think happened to the characters?
If there's a cliffhanger, yes, speculation, but usually it's even more mundane than that. I want to read my opinions.
Yeah.
I'll scroll
Yeah.
until I find my
You don't
own.
want to write them. You're not an
No,
active.
I just want to feel comfortable with the knowledge that someone else had the same thoughts as me, or like plot holes. Oh, no, I take it back. My main use case for Reddit is for sure when I notice a plot hole in a show or something. I like to go to the Reddit and see what other
if
people.
anyone else has noticed it.
Yeah,
you're
and then
like,
I'll upvote their thing, and then I'll feel fine. But then if I don't find someone who noticed it, I'm like in a manic state until I do. Like I need it
like
to be
me
validated.
with the ant.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I have an infestation? Talk to me about this social media engagement bait. What do you mean by that? What comes to mind is that I think it's a video I sent you. I'm like,
Which one?
I'm like, can you believe this? It was like a cooking video where it's like a woman like is first roasting chicken, then she's shredding the chicken, and you're like, oh, tacos. And then it's just like every step of the video you didn't see coming.
Mhm.
It's like the most suspenseful cooking video.
Dude, you would fall for bait.
I always fall for bait. That's
I
why
know.
I can't stand Twitter anymore,
Cute.
because
It's like, honestly, it's heartwarming. It's like they're preying on your human instincts, and that's fucked up of them. You didn't do anything wrong there. Don't let them shame you for falling for bait. They shouldn't have been trying to bait you.
Yeah, exactly. So next week we're going to talk about some of the problems. I mean, besides Reddit being gutted because of its IPO, because of its efforts to be made profitable, like the other thing is we're worried about who controls that information and what are like the barriers and the guardrails put on the kind of information that you can find on Reddit.
With any, major media platform, there's going to be a degree of the US government, big corporations trying to maintain some form of censorship and control. Reddit ranks 16th in website traffic globally. There's over 2 billion visits per month. It's the 9th most visited website in the United States, right? The bigger you are, the more people you have in your platform, the more the ruling class of the world is going to want to make sure they have a finger in your pie. Is that the right metaphor? Does finger in pie work
a
there?
finger in your butt. No, that's the right metaphor.
We did get a comment requesting us to investigate the susness of Reddit. So next week, we're going to explore some of the connections that Reddit leadership has with the national security state. We'll probably talk about similar connections that exist at the other major social media platforms as well. And we're also going to talk about news media platforms with similar shady connections, such as the one and only RIP in advance, Vice Media.
Yeah, Vice Media, but its tech portion was really good. Motherboard was really good, and it looks like, Vice News was run by a tech company, poorly managed, big executive bonuses, laying off lots of staff, and turns out they couldn't turn a profit, and they are shutting down.
They're planning to fire hundreds of employees. And by the time you guys listen to this, it may have already happened because it's supposed to happen next week. So we're saying goodbye to Vice. So in honor of that, next week we're gonna do a little in memoriam.
Vice Vigil. I'll miss Vice for all those wonderful articles. The Guide to Anal Sex.
I will miss both Vice and Reddit, but I won't miss the propaganda that was on both. And that's what we're gonna cover in next week's episode of Cargo Cult.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Naomi, signing off.
And I'm Michelle. I guess we're doing just first names now?
Yeah, why not?
With the rise of anti-Semitism, I don't even feel safe. All right, bye guys.
Bye.